Hi, my name is Pastor Hal York, and welcome to Truth in the Trenches. Today we're going to be in Proverbs chapter 8, verses 10 and 11, where we read this. Take my instruction instead of silver, and knowledge rather than choice gold. For wisdom is better than jewels, and all that you may desire cannot compare with her. Chapter 8 of Proverbs is wisdom speaking to us. She's representing herself. When you read in this chapter and read the words, "To you, O men, I call," the I speaking is wisdom. I will speak noble things. All the words of my mouth are righteous. There's nothing crooked or twisted in them. Wisdom is personified, speaking as a person. That person, as we know, is Christ, in whom are hid all the treasures of wisdom and knowledge, Colossians tells us. But verses 10 and 11 are really putting us in a place where we're forced to ask ourselves a very important question. And Proverbs often brings us to the place where we're forced to ask ourselves some questions. And the question is this. If you had to choose between wisdom and silver, or knowledge and choice gold, which would you choose? Would you rather be rich or wise? Would you rather have the knowledge of a stock market and how it works and how to make money on it? Or would you rather have the knowledge of God and who He is and what He's done for us? Take instruction instead of silver, and knowledge rather than choice gold. It all comes down to which we think will serve us better in the long term, right? It was interesting when you hear people talk about getting married or having kids, and when they start talking, usually the issue that comes up is, do they have enough money? Is their house big enough? Is their car big enough? Do they have enough of the right furniture and all this kind of stuff? Do we need to buy a bit bigger house and so on? It's interesting. It's always about money. Is it wisdom or money? It's money that comes to the forefront when people start talking about marriage. But the reality is you can have a very happy home in a very small house, or in a very small apartment for that matter, if it's filled with wisdom and knowledge. If they're present in that home, it can be a very happy and joyful place. It can be a place where children grow up to love their parents, love their mom and dad, where the mom and dad love one another, and they enjoy being together. They're brought up in the nurture and the admonition of the Lord, and they grow up to be people who love the Lord and are serving the Lord. That can happen in an apartment just as well as it can happen in a house, no matter how big or small they are. But that's wisdom. If we don't believe that, the marriage home is going to be founded upon the principles that silver and gold are what is really needed, and people become slaves to the almighty dollar. They put themselves in situations where tensions are high, fear levels are rising, their nerves are on edge, people are anxious and angry, servants of the almighty dollar, borrowed up to the hilt. And when that happens, the family suffers and the marriage suffers, all because they would rather be rich, or they think riches are more important than wisdom. And sadly, this is not abnormal. It's very normal in our culture today. Money, not wisdom, is considered the most valuable commodity we need to be happy in our marriage and for our kids to grow up healthy. We are bought the lie that our lives consist in the abundance of the things we possess. Jesus says our lives do not consist in the abundance of the things we possess. So who do you believe? A life of peace, joy, and meaning, a marriage that is healthy and growing, children that are healthy and happy and contented, these cannot be purchased with silver or gold. These are the fruits of wise living, wise choices, godly living, godly choices. These are results of making wise choices in our marriage, raising our children wisely according to God's word. The thing we need to remember is we don't get to go back and do it over again. Life only moves in one direction. We only get one chance to raise our kids, to have a good marriage. And this proverb says, listen to wisdom. Choices have long-term consequences. So who are we listening to? What are my choices telling me? Am I willing to stop and examine my choices and my life desires? What do I think about the importance of wisdom in my life as opposed to the importance of money in my life? Now, sleeplessness is often caused by anxiety and worry, and often those revolve around money and a miserable marriage, miserable home life situations. Because money is a terrible taskmaster. And buying a new pillow or a mattress is not going to solve the problem of anxiety and worry or the tensions of a troubled marriage. doesn't dissolve by moving or buying new things. Jesus says the thief comes only to steal and destroy and to kill. You need to keep him out of your house. You need to stop listening to his advice. Getting advice from those who want to invade your home and steal, getting advice from them on how to keep your house safe is not a bad idea. Is not a good idea. Thieves are not going to be honest when it comes to how to protect yourselves from them because they want your stuff. But the sad thing is, we do it every day. We pick up books from secular writers who don't believe in God, who don't believe in the Bible, who have a totally pagan view on life, and we start listening to what it tells us about how to have a good marriage, about how to raise our kids. Christians ignore the wisdom of God and embrace and trade it for the silver and gold of this world, and wonder why their life looks no different than the world's. Choices have consequences, and choosing your master is one of the most important choices we make in our lives. And just so you know, we all have a master. We all serve someone or something. When it's all said and done, what do you think will lead to a life filled with joy and peace and power, meaning and purpose? Is it a life that's filled with a relationship with God through Jesus Christ, serving him, loving him? Or is it serving the almighty dollar? Would you rather be wealthy or wise? What do your choices say about that? Let me ask you another question. Who has your ear in this world? Who has your ear? Proverbs says, take my instruction instead of silver, and knowledge rather than choice gold. For wisdom is better than jewels, and all that you may desire cannot compare with her. One last question. Do you believe that? I pray that you do. And I pray that your life and your choices in your home and your family and your life in general reflect that it's better to be wise than to be wealthy. So may this truth guide us and guard us in the trenches of life as we seek to live our lives for the glory of God and the good of others. May God bless.